Today on University Report, we'll look into a student group's probation on this campus.
Realistically, it's not a probation. We're essentially suspended from campus. We cannot do anything on campus until October.
We'll also check in on the University of Minnesota's men's gymnastics team ahead of the national championships in May.
What's on our minds right now is becoming two-time national champions.
We will also hear from reporter Mary-Kate Fenstermaker about a different way to watch Shakespeare.
I've had many people come up to me afterwards and go, "This was the clearest Shakespeare I've ever seen. I really understood it, finally."
The Bell Museum kicks off its Year of Earth.
So we're hoping to bring people into this space to talk to one another, to talk to us, and to think about how they can make a difference.
Behind me is only one small part of the city of Minneapolis, a city that recently got ranked as one of the happiest cities in the nation. Stay tuned to find out what the ranking was and what Minneapolis residents thought about it.
Plus your 5-day forecast. All this and more on University Report.
Good morning and welcome to University Report. I'm Eitan Schoenberg.
And I'm Katrina Bailey. Thank you for joining us. Last Thursday, the group Young Democratic Socialists of America, or YDSA, was banned from protesting, promoting, and recruiting on campus till fall. The university says the group failed to get a permit for past activities. Bianca Caputo talked to YDSA members about what this probation means for protests on campus.
Student unions and activities put the student protest group Young Democratic Socialists of America, or YDSA, on probation starting April 18th.
I'm not surprised. I honestly assumed that this was going to happen earlier, given that these protest policies have been brought back basically in response to what YDSA, SJP, and SDS did last spring.
Delikowski is referring to the University of Minnesota's protest policy that hadn't recently been enforced till last August. The rules limit groups without a permit to fewer than 100 protesters on the Twin Cities campus, only one bullhorn, no tents, a 10 p.m. curfew, and banners smaller than 14 by 22 inches. The group was disciplined for holding 2 events with more than 100 protesters, more than one bullhorn, and putting up flyers in Kauffman Memorial Union, all without a permit. Delikowski said YDSA did not receive warnings before being put on probation, and the group plans to push back through the university appeals process.
Realistically, it's not a probation. We're essentially suspended from campus. We cannot do anything on campus until October, which is very deliberately depriving us of the ability to recruit in September with new members.
But I don't think it should deter any people from the work that we're doing. I think if anything, it should invigorate it more.
Delikowski says YDSA isn't finished, and the group's Instagram said it will continue to meet in off-campus locations.
We will have to be more careful.
An SUA spokesperson declined to provide an interview and said SUA staff responded appropriately and followed university policies and procedures related to student group conduct.
I would like the university to email me back and tell me if they got that email. That would be ideal.
Delikowski says he hasn't yet received a response. Bianca Caputo, University Report.
Along with YDSA, another organization, Students for Justice in Palestine, or SJP, is on probation through September.
Minnesota men's gymnastics is coming off a win at their recent conference championships. The team's successful season follows years of setbacks, not at the hands of other teams, but because of decisions made by the U. I spoke with a few members of the team to learn more about their story.
You would expect a college sports team to have one central location to practice. But for Minnesota men's gymnastics, it's a different story. The team uses Cook Hall twice a week, a change from years past when the building was their full-time practice facility. The rest of the week is spent bouncing around places in the metro area. They've dealt with their fair share of adversity over the last couple of years, from being cut as an NCAA D1 program in 2021 to losing their practice gym last year. Yet they're currently the second best team in their league and are undefeated for the second season in a row.
What's on our minds right now is becoming two-time national champions.
Last year, the team won the Gym Act National Championship. Gym Act is a newer league that's separate from the NCAA and was created in response to the elimination of many Division I gymnastics programs.
We ended up losing a lot of programs, and now we have 15 programs left in the country, NCAA programs.
The college gymnastics world had to adapt, and so did Minnesota. The team knew it would be hard to lose their home base in Cook Hall.
But even though I wasn't surprised, it was still like a punch in the gut. And it didn't really hit me until we were doing it. You don't realize how convenient it is having a gym on campus until it's taken away from you.
Despite the grind, the team is committed to Minnesota gymnastics.
I ended up rejecting a D1 offer this year because I can never leave the situation that we're in right now.
Guided by veteran head coach Mike Burns, the team wants to lead by example.
Mike is the reason I came to this school.
Though they're not Division I, the team still develops top-end talent. In fact, 2 members transferred from Minnesota Gymnastics to Division I programs after last season.
I feel really proud of those guys being part of this program and taking it to the next level and being super successful.
No matter what situation life throws at them, the team will always remain confident in themselves.
Well, I'll look back at this year and a few years ago. Remember 2025 when we had to do all that? Yeah, that really was a pain in the neck. But we're still here.
Minnesota Men's Gymnastics is currently working on getting its own facility for next year. In the meantime, the team's sights are set on the National Championships on May 10th in Salt Lake City, Utah.
The main cinema just off of the U of M campus is hosting the 16th Minnesota Cuban Film Festival. The point of the festival is to celebrate Cuban culture through the eyes of Cuban filmmakers. The festival features a film every Wednesday through June 4th. The festival got started last Wednesday night with a film called Wild Woman. Coming up this Wednesday, a film called The Wait will play at the theater, an award-winning story of a man whose personal losses led him to make a radical decision.
A newly opened gallery at the Bell Museum is turning climate anxiety into climate action, and Shakespeare like you've never seen it before. After the break, we'll show you The Bard on Tap.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. Because tomorrow's visionaries need focus today. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, the arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
Welcome back to University Report.
The works of William Shakespeare might bring to mind English class or elaborate theater productions, but you can also take in plays by Shakespeare, who's sometimes known as the Bard, in a bar. Mary-Kate Fenstermaker is live outside Minneapolis Cider Company where the performances take place. Mary-Kate, how's it going?
It's going good. So this may not be the type of place where you'd expect to encounter Shakespeare, but the bard in a bar does make sense. Hear me out. So the performance I saw was really engaging and I was actually able to follow along. But the performers say that a venue like this really adds an authentic touch to the traditional Shakespeare experience, and that is alcohol. In Minneapolis, a unique event is transforming the way we experience Shakespeare.
Are not these trees more free from peril than the envious?
There's just 3 rules. Serious actors only, no director, 1 rehearsal.
It's the kind of work that does resonate after 400 years. There would have been very little rehearsal. The audience would have been rowdy, they would have been drunk.
The actors embrace the spontaneity of live performance and encourage the audience to participate.
It just allows the audience to be a little more free. We let them get up and move, leave at any time, have your phone out, and it's just a more welcoming, accessible space to consume your Shakespeare.
It's not in a dark theater space where the audience is totally separate from the action.
Bard Shakes is not just a show, it's a social event too. Attendees can grab drinks, chat, and enjoy the performance in a very casual fashion.
This is how we build community and connect with our neighbors.
The connection between actors and audience is key.
The audience wants you to do well, you just kind of roll with the punches. If you make a mistake, you acknowledge it and you keep going.
And with the help of their training, the actors know how to present Shakespeare effectively.
The actors really bringing the story to life, using tone, using action. It felt much more recognizable.
I understand why people think Shakespeare can be hard to understand, but especially seeing it in this setting, it makes it so much more accessible.
Bard Shakes shows that live performance can still really connect with audiences and keep Shakespeare alive.
I've had many people come up to me afterwards and go, this was the clearest Shakespeare I've ever seen. I really understood it finally. But there's a real hunger for Shakespeare done quickly and done well. You can understand it. Just give us a chance.
So the Bard has been around since 2015. It was actually created by a U of M student, but the next performance will be sometime in July. It's free to attend. You don't need reservations. It'll be here again at the Minneapolis Cider Company. It'll be here at the Minneapolis Cider Company, and you can also get drinks and food and play pickleball here. Thanks, Eitan.
Thanks, Mary Kate. It looked like a lot of fun, and it looked like Bob Ross was there at the beginning.
The Bell Museum has recently redesigned a gallery you might want to check out. It's called Imagine the Future. Kylie Kendall was there when it opened last week.
At the Bell Museum in St. Paul, April officially started the Year of Earth, dedicated to raising awareness of climate change. To kick off the year, the museum celebrated the opening of the redesigned gallery Imagine the Future. The gallery's main exhibits are the multiple panels showcasing the stories of community members committed to fighting climate change. Melody Arteaga is one of the featured stories in the exhibit. She worked with COPAL, communities organizing Latina Power in Action, to advocate for BIPOC voices regarding climate change.
Part of the work that I have done is how do we make sure that people that are impacted by climate change are included in these conversations? How do we make sure that it's not only scientists and experts that are giving their opinions, but also community members?
The gallery contains many interactive elements, like the round table that's designed as Earth, where people can spin the wheel to match their current feelings about climate change. There are sliders along some of the main panels to create different graphics, and a digital poll designed for attendees to address their thoughts. Then, on the way out, gallery goers are met with a colorful wall of different climate actions they can take, provided by the U of M Climate Adaptation Partnership.
We like to think about the climate action footprint instead of the climate or your carbon footprint, because action is like a journey. We can't just like click off all of the things on the list and then be done. We're doing this for like ever. On this wall are a bunch of different things that you can take that do have a beneficial effect on climate.
Jenny Stamp led the development of the redesigned gallery. She hopes the gallery helps people to see the Bell Museum as a hub for engagement around climate change.
So we're hoping to bring people into this space to talk to one another, to talk to us, and to think about how they can make a difference.
The gallery will encourage everyone to come together and imagine their futures. Kylie Kendall, University Report.
The next event in the Bell Museum's Year of Earth is a talk with climate writer Mary Anais Helger next Wednesday. It's called The Weight of the World. It is free, but RSVP is required.
Spring is in the air and so are plenty of clouds. But how's the weekend looking? We'll also give you an update on how Minnesota sports teams are doing, and we'll take a look into the Kentucky Derby and the favorite in newsrooms everywhere. All of this after the break.
We're all about water in Minnesota. I've been here approaching 50 years. Originally, the biggest problem we had is the algae bloom from the sewage in the lake. And now we got the zebra mussels, and that's been a major negative.
Zebra mussels are an aquatic invasive species. They impact the food webs within lakes, which impact fish populations, growth, occurrence, and especially in Minnesota, where so much of our recreation is lake-based, that impacts those local businesses, different tourism around the state. Zebra mussels were first found in the Great Lakes back in 1986, and since then they have spread throughout much of Minnesota. People love clear water, but that's not necessarily good. That means that conditions are different for the plants, for the fish, for everything in the lake. This project out on Lake Minnetonka is looking at a copper-based product called EarthTech QZ. We are hoping that this will give us ideally some solutions for controlling zebra mussel populations. This project is largely a partnership between the University of Minnesota, specifically MASERC, the Minnesota Aquatic Invasive Species Research Center, and the U.S. Geological Survey.
It is very much a team effort. Even the marina owner that has graciously allowed us to use their area for staging our equipment and supplies. So without the cooperation of all those different partners, it would be impossible to do a study of this nature.
There are a lot of infrastructure and businesses existing, relying on the lake. It's not only the marinas, it's everybody around Lake Minnetonka will suffer subsequently.
Well, the zebra mussels over on the east end of the lake make it clear. It looks like an aquarium over there. So during the daytime, it's kind of tough to fish.
Zebra mussels affect our boats by getting to the motors. They affect the beaches. They get on the rocks. People step on them, cut their feet. So it just makes it less desirable to use the lake. And as a business that's in a lake community, that affects us.
This project is specific to Lake Minnetonka, but we're hoping that this type of treatment will be able to be repeated on different lakes. The University of Minnesota's Aquatic Invasive Species Research Center is one of a kind. It's the only one like it in the country. And the work that we're doing is protecting Minnesota's lakes.
The University of Minnesota is absolutely essential in this matter. And it's a profoundly positive experience for us to be part of it.
Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to University Report.
It was an up and down weekend for Minnesota sports fans. One playoff team advanced in the playoffs, while the other was eliminated. The Wild took on the Vegas Golden Knights in a do-or-die Game 6 last night. Minnesota started off on the wrong foot, taking a double minor penalty early on. Shea Theodore ripped a shot past Philip Gustafson to give Vegas a 1-0 lead. The Wild had solid chances throughout the first, but it took until the final seconds of the period for Ryan Hartman to beat Aiden Hill to tie the game. A breakdown in the offensive zone led to a breakaway for Jack Eichel, and he buried a shot on Gustafson's glove side to give his team the lead back. The Wild had Vegas on their heels in the third, but Mark Stone batted a puck while it was mid-air to extend his team's lead to 2. The Wild kept at it, though, with a net front scramble leading to Hartman stuffing home his second goal of the night. Minnesota pulled Gustafson with hopes of tying the game, but the Golden Knights defense stood tall, shutting down the Wild 3-2, taking the series in 6 games and moving on to the second round. On a lighter note, on Wednesday night, the Timberwolves beat the Los Angeles Lakers 103-96 to claim the series 4-1. The Timberwolves advance to play the winner of the Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets series. The Warriors currently have a 3-2 lead in that series.
The Minnesota Twins had found a little form, winning 6 in a row before losing 3 of the 4 against the Cleveland Guardians. The Twins will now start their away series against the Red Sox tonight at 6:10 p.m. The series will continue through the weekend on Saturday at 3:10 p.m. and Sunday at 12:35 p.m. Tomorrow marks the 151st Kentucky Derby. The race is scheduled to start just before 6 p.m. And this year's favorite, at least at our school, is named, wait for it, journalism.
Wow, you know there's also a horse named Publisher?
Is it really?
Yeah, so it's a big week for newspapers.
I mean, you know what horses say. Nay.
That's all for sports. Lately, it's been a classic Minnesota spring with warm weather and cold showers. Earlier in the week, the Twin Cities had some hard rain and was barely missed by a severe storm. Since then, the weather has gotten warmer and sunnier.
Bianca Caputo is here with the 5-day forecast. How are things looking after a close call on Monday?
Hi, Katrina. It's looking a lot better for the next week with the kind of weather that might have me burning up on my Midwest lawn. All right, today we're going to be starting off partly cloudy with a low of 44 and a high of 57 in one of these last windy days. Past today, it's going to be all sunshine as we head into those last few weeks of the semester and get ready to finally enjoy that campus lawn. This weekend and early next week, you can expect weather in the mid-70s. On Tuesday, we'll hit a high of 75 degrees, which will have Midwesterners like me sweating. And that's our 5-day forecast for the week. I'm going out on a limb and saying spring is finally here to stay and we can get in those extra rays. I'll definitely be working on my tan.
Thanks, Bianca. It's nice of you to work on your tan, but I wish I could tan.
Yeah, I always get a nasty watch tan, but I like to say I tan pretty well. So, well, hopefully we get those sunny days that Bianca promised us.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands or tell a joke. Coming up, we'll tell you about how you can practice your stand-up comedy in front of your peers, and we'll show you just how happy Minneapolis is compared to other U.S. cities after the break.
Because it was there. Because determination overcame distance.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Because the unsolvable was invitation enough. Why are we driven to discover? Because we can change the course of history. Because tomorrow's visionaries need focus today. At the University of Minnesota, with each student comes an opportunity to set their sights higher and to show them the way, so our graduates can shape the future and fulfill the dreams they haven't yet dreamt. Because renewable energy can sustain us all. Our students envision the sun powering homes on every block, wind-blown ideas launching entirely new economies, and fertile soils fueling cars and people alike, protecting the harmony between humanity and nature. Because self-expression can move 1,000 souls. Be it a song or a dance, a canvas or a poem, the arts are vital to the U of M experience, as are self-discovery and moments of sheer amazement. Because cancer can be conquered by targeting medicines, customizing treatments, and transplanting stem cells, incurable cancers can become survivable. Terminal can be redefined as treatable, and optimism can spread once again. Because human rights need champions. From classrooms in Minnesota to courtrooms in Uganda, assembling a collective voice for change allows dignity to return and extends human rights across the globe. Because clean water ensures quality of life. It's essential to the health of all nations, so we're studying models and molecules. We are committed to making clean water flow freely, from the headwaters of the Mississippi to the slums of Mumbai. We share the belief that anything is possible, because at the University of Minnesota, discoveries unfold, breakthroughs happen, and history is forever changed.
Welcome back to University Report.
Is reading hard for you? Well, tomorrow is National Free Comic Book Day. If you go to your local comic book store, you can get a free comic without any additional purchases. Participating stores in the Twin Cities area include Level Up, Source Comics, Dreamer's Vault, and more.
And if you're looking for a laugh, the University of Minnesota is hosting an open mic stand-up tomorrow night at the Whole Music Club. Here's footage from a slightly different open mic night also hosted at the club. This weekend's open mic night wraps up university events at the club for the school year. The event starts at 8 p.m. tomorrow night and is free of cost for U of M students and the general public. There will also be free pizza luce while supplies last.
Okay, no joke. Minneapolis got ranked the second happy city in the nation, and the happiest American city of all might surprise you. First, here's what the rankings really mean and what I heard from some people who live there.
The Happy City Index put Minneapolis in the gold category with only one other American city. The Institute ranks 200 of the world's happy cities in gold, silver, and bronze categories based on several factors, including education and innovation, governance and transparency, health and well-being, mobility and transport, environmental sustainability, and economy and business. The highest marks for Minneapolis are for environment and sustainability, as the area has supportive environmental practices and lots of green space. Minneapolis residents seem to agree with the ranking.
I believe it. I believe it. I'm perpetually in a good mood when I'm here.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there anything that contributes to that, or it's just kind of like the overall?
I just love the culture, the diversity. I love the food culture. I love just the whole community. It's just a great community I found.
Oh, Minneapolis is just a great place. Great vibes. Look at the culture here. Everything's nice. Look at the people. Great area.
I always say that Minneapolis has a lot of activity. If you're in the theater, if you're into the arts, if you're into the sports, if you're supporting the economy, if you want to go to a restaurant, go to a hotel, there's lots of stuff to do here. And my wife and I, we travel quite a bit, and there's a lot of towns that just don't have the stuff we're looking for and don't have the options. And if you're well-rounded, Minneapolis is perfect because there's so many things to do for everybody.
Yeah. No. So happiest in this context doesn't always mean everyone is walking around with a smile. The aftermath of George Floyd's murder brought Minneapolis a kind of negative attention no city wants. And what's the only U.S. city happier by these standards than Minneapolis? New York.
Well, if the Timberwolves last longer than the Knicks, they might take them over.
Ooh.
So that's it for this week's University Report. I'm Eitan Schoenberg.
And I'm Katrina Bailey. Thank you for watching and have a great sunny weekend.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.